Could NVDA more than double by Friday? That's the question for today, because option traders or the YOLO crowd is betting that NVDA could more than double in value by Friday. This is incredible. They're going after the 1,940 strike, and they were actively bought on Monday, which means that people actually thought that the chart, which was currently at about 900, would actually go to roughly 2,000. This seems pretty incredible. I'll tell you what it sounds a little bit like, because frankly, it's very, very peculiar. But just before I do that, I do want to talk about what an expansion signal means. So right now, for Nvidia, we note that on the weekly chart, we have seen hollow candles, which means that we're closing higher than we opened, and the volume's also going up. As of right now, we would have to make it back above roughly 904. And if we go back here to our daily chart, we were actually above that today at roughly 905. So an easy way to think about this would basically be that if we are going to get back above 905 by Friday, we cannot afford to lose this uptrend. We have to make it back above there. So we have to rally by, I don't know, like about $10. It's almost exactly $10. Nvidia could do it. It's roughly 1%. The stock is up 1% today. Hey, if it goes up 1% more by Friday, that'll be important. But here's what it sounds like. It sounds a little bit euphoric, right? Oh, yeah, they're going to double again. This company is worth like $2 trillion. So for it to double, that would be creating another $2 trillion. As good as this release was, it does appear like it was a buy the hype, sell the news. Why? Man, I'm a genius. We're all going to be rich, right? Got to buy more on margin. Got to go tell everybody. Yeah, that's what it sounds like right now. And I don't see complacency quite yet. I do actually notice a few things here. If we go to SPY, we actually have a bullish engulfing daily candle. That's right. Bullish is in the name. So there's really a lot of divergence that's happening right now. We can look at price, which is king. We can try to confirm it with volume, which right here, it doesn't say that things are bullish. It looks like people are dominant selling. But here, let's go to QQQ. Let me show you one more chart that really matters right now, because I was debating what I wanted to talk about today. And this is what I decided with, because, man, what a great headline. We were going to talk about QQQ. We did this on the pre-market stream where when we start to have a succession of 3 red candles or more in a row, that's every red box here. What was so incredible is that we came to within roughly 50, 60 cents of last week's low, and we bounced again. We have another higher low. So even though we're looking for this pattern, I talked about how it is establishing, not established, which means ING versus ED. So right now, we don't yet have a trend. We have a potential trend change. We got 2 lower lows. If we get one more, that's the start of confirmation on Friday if we close the weekly below there. Right now, we held. So we got 432.74, and over here we got 433.33, exactly 1/3 of the way down. So with Jerome Powell talking tomorrow, I want to see whether or not the short-term weakness, which we do see near a top where we form lower highs and lower lows, is what's evident here. That would basically mean, if you can't draw all these fancy trend lines, do we fall below the short-term price, which right now is at 428.94. That would correspond with breaking the channel lower, and it would also correspond with a weekly lower low. All right, that's like the easy story here. In return, if you guys don't mind, please considering to smash that thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. So with that as the headline for today, I'm going to start to see what people put in the comments. They start getting complacent. Oh my God, did you not see what Jensen did? He revealed the black wall, whatever. I forget what it's called now. Didn't you see? I'm like, cool. Well, is the stock going to double by Friday? Well, it's already Tuesday, so I don't know. But this is very interesting to me. It's just one stock too. So we talked about the first half of the week versus the second half of the week. There is going to be that panel tomorrow at 1 p.m., but then it's all about Papa Powell at 2:30. What's he going to have to say? Right now, I think what really matters is what the Fed sees collectively at 2 p.m. As a reminder, we got the headline number at 2, and then Jerome comes out at 2:30 for Q&A. Right now, we're seeing 3, right? This is from Bloomberg, compiled from all the people that matter, strategists. So if the dot plot, which they release later this week, shows less or more or the same, is likely how the market's going to react to. Right now, CFOs are saying we're in a soft landing, so that should be encouraging for the Fed. And Jensen's going to be, we already went through that part. We'll just skip it for now. Actually, for here too, we keep getting these warnings, right? We have a warning on the S&P, the Dow Jones, the Russell, right? Semiconductors, technology, but they're all whispers, which means we don't quite yet have a established pattern. We talked about this on the weekend, and also on the pre-market streams. We also talked about the first versus second half of the week. So the week's not over, right? It's only Tuesday. So let's not get too excited yet because it can all fizzle. We did see Bitcoin eventually, at least for now, fall victim to the sell the news. That seems interesting to me. And we talked about this dip too, where if the S&P follows, it's usually not as amplified or doesn't have as much beta. But if the S&P goes back below 480, that's the number I'm looking for. That's the previous all-time high. Short sellers are loud, they are proud, and they are shorting for the highest number going back to July of 2023. And when the Fed meets tomorrow, again, there's the asterisk here for the calendar, which means we get that SEP, or Summary of Economic Projections. The Fed could come in quite hawkish. I don't know, right? Let's just wait and see what happens tomorrow. Let's check in on the 10-year note too, because that was a really important signal for us. It was 4.33. So far, it's a rejection. So we got a failed break exactly at 4.34. That's the exact number I want to see this thing reject at. If it doesn't, it just means that higher for longer is starting to get baked in. And basically what we see here from Larry Summers is starting to be the consensus, not just right, a potential, right? Probable versus possible. We can probably skip to the rest of the stuff. And we talked about this too, right? Market will usually experience a 10% correction once per year. Be aware of a pullback. A pullback is 5%. That could happen at any time. So if we know where the weakness came from today, it was really like AMD. It was the peripheral companies around, and Supermicro finally getting added to the S&P, and they have an offering today. Otherwise, it's pretty calm out there. If we look at the last 4 hours, even more boring, which means stocks actually held up in the afternoon. If we look to the last 1 week, there's winners and losers, right? It's the big guys versus everyone else. And if we zoom out to year to date, hey, it's pretty good out there, unless you're Apple or Tesla. Google's green now by 6%. Yay. Here's part of the reason why Apple is facing an issue too. So Apple without AI looks more like Coca-Cola than a high growth tech name. We talked about this on the pre-market stream as well. Encourage you to watch that if you're interested. It should be in the on the channel homepage. So if we look here to a forward PE, ironically, Apple's forward PE is currently 24.64. And if we look over here to Coca-Cola, right, Mr. KO, it's 20. So Apple is only currently about 20% more expensive than KO. That's what this article is talking about. Apple's kind of seen as a value stock now because there's not really that high growth, which is what tech stocks are supposed to have. That's why people pay a premium for them. But look at Google. Google's actually cheaper than Coca-Cola, which means people think that the growth story at Coke is better than the one at Google. And Meta, ironically, is only at 21.4, and Coca-Cola is at 20. So the question is, are these ones underpriced or are these ones overpriced? We're going to find out. And remember, it's all about Jerome tomorrow. So I really encourage you to watch the weekend deep dive, which is now over here on the left-hand side. Otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And please just make sure that you do make a plan. This is a very important day for tomorrow. Good luck out there.